Let me tell you something.
You're listening to QSJ, digging up the underground.
Let's get back to the mix.
DJ. Yeah, shit.
It has to. That's cool.
That's good. No, this one sounds nasty. Tap. Yo, somebody's tweaking. Someone in your camp is leaking. What you know about that? Friction, allegiance, disruption, inconvenience. Being solid don't come with instruction. Either you got it, either you don't. Yo, somebody's tweaking. Someone in your camp is leaking. What you know about that? Friction, allegiance, disruption, inconvenience. Being solid don't come with instruction. Either you got it, either you don't. I never give attention to a hater, that's a waste of time. Still not in my prime, Optimus, juggling thoughts in my conscience. I ain't down for the nonsense, I got too many problems. Couple half a kush, got it down to a pinky, even that was a push. Shh, this is a must, I'm a local customer. I'm a villain, a stunner. On the dark side like Anakin transformed to Vader. On the mountain I had to fend for myself, I turned to a raider. I know man them turned to haters. Haters now turned to traitors. I got a bad man, I got different runners. Setting trends and different wonders. Have you noticed when you start making peace, everyone suddenly has no keys. When you go out, there's a pagan thing, fuckery thing. Did I say it was pain for you? Try being outnumbered. I get why some youngers move so reckless, yet they're dealing with trauma. Seen George and Laura yapping their ears off at the local Costa. Growing up, I phone out being a gangster. Till I see my boy got shot in a Costa donut, walking out Tesco. Narrow-minded people think this is gang related. See my hip up.
What up, everybody? Big shout out to everybody listening. Good morning for those who are here with us this morning, and good afternoon for those who are with Artinho out there in London. Bro, like, let's just get crazy. Welcome to QSJ Radio Podcast, where we delve into the lives of emerging artists who are shaping the landscapes of tomorrow's industry. I'm your host, Traffic Light, and today we spotlight in Artinho. Artinho, a dynamic hip-hop artist hailing from London, UK. Just had a birthday, May 15th. Big shout out to that. Happy birthday. He's been making waves in the hip-hop scene with his unique style and compelling lyrics. Thank you guys for joining us as we explore his journey from his early days in London to his aspirations for the future of his career. So, Artinho, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Listen, I just I know we was just like in the background and we was just getting to know each other, and it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. But for people that don't know who you are, can you tell us about your upbringing in London and how that has influenced your music?
So, grew up in London, born in 1992. North London, Edmonton to be exact. Grew up with two parents and two brothers. So my brothers, there's a 4-year gap between me and my middle brother, and there's a 9-year gap between me and my younger brother. Went to school. So my
Wait, hold on. So you're the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 3.
So the middle and the youngest. Okay. I had to put that together because I'm a middle child, and we usually don't be getting called the middle brother. Like we be called the ignored brother. But
oh, nah, that's the most spoiled, bro.
Oh, is it? The middle child?
Yeah, that's the spoiled sibling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to
they get all the attention.
Okay.
Just grew up really sportive kid. Listen to music, but not really something that I would say stuck out to me. I played football, I did judo, I did swimming on a weekly basis.
But with football, you know, you're talking to an American. So
soccer. Soccer.
I just wanted to get that out there because, you know, I'm like, oh shit, how many touchdowns you got? And you'd be like, no, wrong one, bro. Wrong one.
So soccer, to the Americans. I did that, I did swimming, and I did judo on a weekly basis for a good 5 to 6 year span. I dropped swimming out and I put karate in the mix. I don't know, my dad was really big on martial arts, so he kind of wanted he's got 3 sons and he wants us to be able to defend ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get that part of it. But yeah, just really grew up with sports and music. Just, I don't know, music was really never a factor in my life. My parents never really wanted me listening to hip hop in the 90s because of the whole Tupac and Biggie situation.
Oh, bro.
So
You know what? That it
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. A lot of people don't get that, but just to bring back a few people for our new listeners
Mhm.
or anybody. Okay, hold on a second. I just realized something. I just realized that I have to get rid of something.
All right. So,
What? Somebody help me with that. Let me see if I can mute this. So yeah, we gotta chill with the no shout outs, Eddie, in the chat. Thank you so much though. That's probably why we got rid of the damn shout outs and we never had them. Anyway, so what happens is when people like live chat, my mods, they come in and
mhm.
then a clip of the person that streams will come up. So I don't
Okay.
know if you heard like music in the background,
No, not even.
but there was, it was perfect music though. Let me tell you, it was really dope. But anyways, so for those who don't, so we're talking about, kind of like Artinio's history and how his parents kind of like almost, well, we could say banned. We banned the 90s hip hop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was so bad. It was so all over the news. It was so like, you would go into like stores, see the magazines. It would either be Biggie or Tupac on these magazines, and you get so hyped to like get the things, but it's like there was this real like no, like
Yeah.
I don't want my kids listening to that
Mhm.
because it was extremely raw, and this kind of hip hop was basically underground at one time.
Yeah.
And now it was being commercialized, exposed, as the Americans would say. Yeah, they were even trying to ban it, period, on in our radio stations.
Oh
Like
wow.
our Congress people at that time were trying to
Mhm.
like, cause it was too bad. It was so horrible. And it's
Mm.
not to shed away from everybody who, understands what the Biggie and Tupac beef was
Mhm.
or, but there was a lot. There was like the NWA, there was the East West Coast, there was like the Bone Thugs. Everybody was like it was just this thing of taking a minority group, commercializing them at their worst, right? That's how everybody looked at it, but they weren't looking at it like that. Some people were just like, you can't hide from what we do. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you can't hide from what we do, but you look crazy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And people are just and I can only imagine how people from the UK were like, look at those fucking Americans. Like, look at them. I tell you because I'm gonna tell you because we used to have like foreign exchange students, and the first question they used to ask the class was, "So who here owns a gun?" Like
Oh wow.
that's how people used to look at us, and I was a kid,
Mhm. Mhm.
growing up in that. So mom, dad, they kind of like the parents didn't want you to listen to the hip hop. When the hell did this start coming in?
Um, I would say when I was 10 years old, just about to start in secondary school.
Okay.
So I think just growing up with the friends I was with, they listen to like grime, what we'd call grime. So like early Skepta, Wiley, DWE, Devilman. You've got Gets. Well, he was called Ghetto at the time, but you got artists like this that I grew up listening to. And then I think hip hop came in, yeah, when I would say secondary school. So it was people like, well, I would listen to hip hop when I go to parties, so my family parties, and I
Yeah.
listen. So my
Yeah,
cousins
you
would play
can't hide
like,
it from there because
nah,
the DJs
yeah.
were young. They were the young bucks.
But
Like,
then I think what helped with it is watching wrestling. So I grew up watching wrestling in the 90s.
oh, oh,
So you got Run DMC obviously for DX. You've had Busta Rhymes coming in, be a guest for The Rock. I've seen that. LL Cool J's been there. So I think that got my interest in rap, and I was like, oh, okay. So what my parents were talking about, it's not really what hip hop is really about. So the more I started listening to it, I think who's the first artist I listened to? Fugees,
The
the Score album,
Fugees. Wow.
and then I listened to Busta Rhymes. Is it what's the album called? Is it When Disaster Strikes? I
Shot is
listened to
it.
two of them mans,
Wow.
and
Wow.
that's what really
And that's
got
two
me into hip hop.
different things right there. That's two different things because Busta is like, you
I love
know,
Busta.
he's basically, what's he saying? He's basically lyric. He's actually a Jamaican hip hop artist, which was kind of like one of the first ones out there because you had to like associate yourself with a neighborhood, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And your background had to be of that. It was crazy. You know how it is. It's kind of like how Eminem when he came out.
Yeah.
It was like, well, that's gonna be like another Vanilla Ice, but it wasn't. It
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't.
It was
Not at
ended
all.
up becoming legendary. So
Exactly.
the music part, right? So
Mhm.
you listen and you influence. These are really some good people. So Fuji's had it, right? They had
Yeah.
the beat maker, they had the guy in the background who was not taking the lyrics seriously. They had the hot shorty, and she was in movies and things like that. Um, No Woman, No Cry, bro. Let's get serious. It took me like 30 years to realize what was going on in that track. When did you realize that music not only was like going to be like something to dive into, but something that you took serious?
Um, I think the more I expand my knowledge in music, like listening to more music. So I'm a big fan of heavy metal, rock, hip hop, pop. I grew up a lot on African music. So I just took listening to different type of music and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Plus I used to go to church, so I was part of the gospel choir.
Wow.
So I don't know, I think the roots I kind of felt like I could have a shot at doing it. Um, I tried it in my early teens. I was doing like gospel rap. Didn't really go to plan. I ended up like getting stabbed and I lost a friend. And I got my parents sent me away to Angola. So that kind of
Hold
scraps
on,
all of
hold
that.
on, hold on. This motherfucker just said that shit like it was like I got stung by a bee. Like,
No, but
wait,
in America, in America people carry guns. In England, it's about knives.
yeah, I knew that part because you basically like people want to live after this shit. It's a
No, of
fight,
course.
it's a confrontation, blah blah. Eh, So you got stabbed up,
Hmm.
and then you had to leave. Like, what
Yeah,
age was
so
that at?
I was 19.
19. Oof.
Yeah. So my parents were just looking at the possibilities. Because obviously, so when I got stabbed, I was with a friend and he died. So I think what my parents were looking at is, oh, he might snitch. Or if they come after him, my son's gonna snitch. So my parents looked at it in the sense of let's get him out of it because we don't want to lose our child.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So they were just like the best option is to send you away to
So
Angola.
you
So
and
my
your
parents were from
man's got stabbed, and then
yeah,
he died,
yeah.
and then they were trying to basically protect you because
Hmm. They feel
wow,
like they'd come and finish the job.
wow.
Well, there was an attempt when I was in ICU. So my ex at the time, I had no idea that it was her stepbrother that got us stabbed. But yeah, I
What the
found that
fuck
out
you?
after.
What'd you do?
Nah, so it wasn't nothing to do with me. It was my man. So my guy basically, how do I explain this? He was selling coke for his older brother, and he was holding the
Okay,
weight.
okay,
So he had an issue with this rival gang that lived in his area, which I was in, and technically I wasn't supposed to be in this area because of where I'm from. So in especially in London, so we have ends and postcodes. So if you're from a certain postcode, you can't go to a certain postcode. You'd get either people chase you or you'd get stabbed up. So I was in the area I shouldn't technically have been in the first place. But me and my friend, we went to college. I went to his house to like do some work.
yeah.
We've left to go to the shop and then found ourselves running. and then found herself like in my area, and then getting into this situation. So
Whew.
yeah,
So all that martial arts, all that other stuff, blah blah,
I mean,
still couldn't guard you from what was
I
the
mean, if you got
streets of
14
London.
people, if you got 14 people with knives and like
Bro,
shanks and
you know
different,
the
and
internet
it's
bugging out
two
right now.
people,
You know the internet bugging out right now because
they can
that
bug out.
one gorilla versus 100. You know how they stupid. But anyway,
I think that's insane.
that's stupid talk. But you know, R.I.P. to your friend.
Mm,
And so you leave,
yeah.
right? You know, I've been catching up with a friend from London, and they tell me that all the time.
Mm,
Like, that is crazy out there. Don't get it twisted. It's not just Big Ben. Like,
no.
it's a lot of like a lot of crazy, and there's a lot of history out there, longer history than America. So I can only imagine the influence some of the ancestry of that is, because it comes from a bloodline. Sometimes it's taught,
Mm,
sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just like you know, like it's just crazy. Like I think kind of like the thing that they banned you from with the Tupac and Biggie, like you had to pick a side, and then Wongo,
mm,
what side did you pick? Like, and then you are characterized by that. You
yeah.
know, it is just crazy, and and of course it's deeper. If for those who don't know, like urban life like that, and I'm talking to people like, because I got different walks of life listening. That urban life is serious. If you are involved or inadvertently involved,
Mm,
you have to know everything that's going on.
mm,
You cannot sit there and act like you just didn't know so and so's cousin, brother, sister, things that are happening in school.
mm.
That urban life, you have to know what's going on, because it literally depends on your life. Um, so where was it that they sent you?
Angola, so the southern part of Africa.
They sent you, bro. What?
So I'm thinking
They,
people are gonna say Angola, the prison. No, there's a country
bro, they
in
sent
Africa.
you to the southern, bro. Did you go over there? Where did you visit? Did you?
Yeah, I've visited before. Yeah, it's
Okay, okay.
calm. Yeah. No,
Because I'm
it's
not like,
beautiful.
damn, they just sent you back. We be saying jokes
No,
on that
no,
like that in America. Like, God,
no. So I'd been back 3 times to visit. The first time I'd went was 2003, just after the Civil War had finished for like I think 40 something years, and then seeing that was a whole eye opener. Went
wow,
back in 2004 for 6 weeks again, 2010 for 2 months, and then 2011 is obviously when I got stabbed. Now I was living out there for a year.
bro.
Yeah, but a year it's completely different when you go to your parents' country and it's for a holiday and you're actually living there. So complete difference. Completely different.
Definitely, definitely. Because
Hmm
you know, the time limited is no longer. Like,
hmm
you have to like figure this out. You
Yeah.
gotta know where the store is. They're not gonna give you, like, you know what I mean, hotel or whatever it is that, you know, a family, they're not giving. You gotta find the food. You gotta
hmm
find the way of life. Was it the culture shock for you? That's I feel like, you know,
Um,
I feel like it's almost the same, you
I
know?
wasn't. I don't know. I don't think it was a culture shock because I had previously had gone before.
Yeah.
Um, I think I did get wouldn't say I was getting sick, not sea is it seasickness when you've been somewhere for a very long time and you just like getting like, oh, I want to go back now
No, it's not seasickness. Seasickness is when you're on like
on the
a
boat.
boat or something. It's
Yeah,
homesick.
homesick. I
Yeah.
was getting home.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 2 months, I was getting homesick, and I was just like, because originally I was actually supposed to stay out there for 5 years.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, fucking
Yeah.
5-year plan? Dang.
So
Was it
origin.
school or something?
Yeah. So my
Okay.
parents were gonna put me into university and everything out there, but I had to I had to do a postgraduate, so I had to learn Portuguese for a year and then actually study. And yeah, so I didn't want to go out there. So I argued with my parents for a while. My parents had sent me out there and took my passport, so technically I wasn't coming back. Um, so this is October 2011. I am arguing with my parents up until my birthday, just before my birthday in May. My mom is like, "I'm gonna come out there."
It's about six,
Uh,
7 months.
yeah. So
For those
then,
who don't pay attention, we talking to made babies in here. We talking to made babies. We in here. But
so my mom came out there. She's talking to my auntie about probably like trying to get my papers, and it's a whole process. So all my documents, British documents, had to be translated in Portuguese to be sent out there. So that's including my British, my birth certificate. That's my education, everything of my education from you lot would say preschool up until high school,
okay.
or probably even college. I'd have to get everything translated, all sent to Angola, and then they'd have to. So in Angola, they have a thing when you're 18, you have to go into the military. But because I'm not born there, I technically had just got it. I just had to wait for 2 months. So I got that. My passport came in like 2 weeks because my granddad, who's passed away now, worked. He was a member of the parliament.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So my mom's side of the family is kind of well off in Angola, so I didn't really have any issues out there. And so from when I needed to go out, they wouldn't let me go out because of how. Because I'm from Europe, and obviously I don't dress like people out there.
Yeah.
Someone could probably want to rough me, but
Yeah.
then I'd be going out with a chauffeur. So technically that
Oh,
wouldn't
damn.
happen.
Yeah. Bro.
Yeah. But then my dad's side of the family was like a whole different other side.
You know what's
It's like,
crazy? I'm like thinking about this and I'm like, visualizing it and you're like young and you're out there and you're just trying to get your life together after having this confrontation from what you believe was the hometown and then kind of like looking at it and then you're down there in Africa and I be thinking like there are exaggerations on the African countries and it's not like you're
no.
literally saying like if somebody was popping, if somebody was like really doing their thing, they literally have people escorting them all over the place. And I think
Yeah.
that was like, cause yeah, maybe I'm thinking crazy, but how the hell do you get used to that, man? Like that is, I don't know, bro. Like,
I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
can't even go
Like,
to the mall and shit. Like,
I don't know, but I think over the time when I lived there, it got normal. So people didn't really care as much.
okay,
I think because I got used to it. I was like, I started dressing as everyone else. I was like, I'm not going to take this stuff too serious. If I
yeah,
do, then I'm looking to get robbed every single day. So I was just like, I got to just act as everyone else here.
yeah. Might as well
Yeah,
just blend in, right?
you might as well.
Might as well. If
I
you
mean, I'm one
guys,
of them, so.
yeah. Big shout out to everybody listening. If you guys just tuning in, we're talking about the early life of Artinho and how he got into music, which is crazy because it is a deeper story here. Started off in London, was doing a whole bunch of things to stay. The parents are basically, force fielding him, making sure that he knew how to take care of himself and self development, self care, and all this other stuff, and then. Next thing you know, like the streets was in there. How do we get to that point, right? Where the streets of London, the streets of was it Angola? You said Angola, and then we hit in the studio. Like how do? Because now it's like. If you guys were just paying attention in the beginning, he did say, I grew up with two brothers and two parents. So if you guys don't, America's not used to that. I'll tell you that
No,
right
no.
now. We not used to
No,
that.
but then it's a thing out here in the UK as well. People are not used to that as well.
Yeah, but when somebody is introducing themselves, they probably won't mention their parents until like 2 years into the relationship. Like it is crazy. Like
No, I
it
got I got a good relationship with my parents now.
that's really good. But at the same time, I think I'm hearing right that you understand now what it was that they were doing
Yeah, 100%.
versus what it was that you were feeling.
Yeah.
That caused a bunch of stuff. You know, I'm going through some shit right now, bro, and I'm happy to hear that, but when I ain't trying to wait that long. I ain't trying to wait that long. These kids better. When was it that the studio came to play? Like when?
So I got back from Angola. So this was the kicker for me. So I've gone out to Angola of October 2011. I know that the Olympics is happening in 2012 in London. I've had to watch the Olympics abroad.
I know
So
he was mad.
I was just like,
I know he
you.
was mad.
Sorry, I was
Nah,
mad
you
as hell.
You good.
I was mad as hell. But yeah, I watched it in Angola. I got back literally, I think it was the ceremony for the Paralympics. And I was just like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, I didn't start really taking music serious until I want to say 2016. So 2012 I got back. I ended up I got in a relationship 2013 with my ex. That's a whole nother story.
Like you said, when he said my ex, you saw the EX capitalized, people. Okay, I saw that shit in your head.
That's a whole nother story. Long story short, we were together for 5 years. I had proposed to her in Ecuador because she's from Ecuador. I flew out to Ecuador, proposed to her, and found out she was cheating me. So, yeah, long story short, it is what it is. I've moved on. I'm happy with my life. I'm doing better. Don't really care what's going on with her. But, yeah, 2016, I was home for the summer. And my brother, so I lived in Huddersfield, which is a bit the top of the UK. So it's Huddersfield is in like Yorkshire in England. So yeah, I was out there. I came home for the summer for like a month, and I was speaking to my middle brother. So my middle brother is in the music industry.
Okay.
But he's popping. Like I don't ask him for anything. That's his own thing.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of person that's gonna. If he wants to include me in anything, that's cool. But we've promised each other not to ever help each other out unless we feel that we need to.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he was just like we were watching Kendrick Lamar performance at Wireless Festival in Finsbury Park.
Okay.
So after watching that performance, he was like, "I'm a producer beat," because he's a producer as well. So he makes a beat and he's like, "Yeah, let me see what you can do." I was like, "Cool. How long have I got? 30 minutes?" He's like, "Yeah, 30 minutes. Spit me a 16 bar. Let me see what you've got. You can write it down, whatever. I just need to see if you could do this or not." So I was thinking, is he taking the piss? Is he trying to troll? So I've done it. And he's like, "I think you should take it serious." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "I'm not telling you this as a brother. I'm telling you this as a producer. I think you've got something with it because you've done it before. Everything that happened with you when you got stabbed and, you went away and you've come back, probably try and give it another go." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I think, yeah, from there's when I took it serious, but I was just like, "I don't have a producer." And he's like, "I'll produce your stuff. I'll mix your stuff. I'll master your stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay, but do you have experience?" Yeah, I'm currently in uni studying mixing and mastering. And I was like, "Okay." And he was studying at BMI, which is the number one music uni in the UK. So at the time, I was like, "Okay, we could do this." I ended up going on to release my first single a year and a half later. Because I was just like, I got to study the people the people who actually influenced me. So I just went back and just listened to Wu-Tang. I listened to Ice Cube. I listened to Dr. Dre. I listened to even UK artists like Dizzy Rascal, Skepta, Gigs. And then I took it to like Michael Jackson. I listened to like Drew Hill and Cisco. I listened to Janet Jackson, massive Janet Jackson fan. And then listened to like, because I like rock, I listened to like Red Hot Chili Peppers. I listened to like Metallica, Iron Maiden, like just a lot of, because I've come, like, I don't know, because I've listened to so much music in the past. I kind of was like, who's gonna sculpt me as an artist? And I felt like there was 5 artists that sculpted me as an artist, which is Michael Jackson, Daft Punk. I'm gonna say early Kanye West without all the shenanigans. So early.
Yo, listen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get into that here in a second, but go ahead.
So I would say the last great Kanye album would be I wouldn't say Laugh for Pablo, but I feel like after that it's kind of where he drifted off to a different space. I would say a bit of David Bowie. I do like Bowie, and then Busta Rhymes. I like it's just infectious for me, anyways. As growing up, so yeah, that's my style. I would say,
Wow.
even though it probably might not. When people listen to me, it might not come across.
Yeah, it
that.
might not. It might not. You know,
Yeah.
when we first started with Solid, that is that
That drill stuff.
that's
yeah.
that drill stuff. That's that actually started from the UK. Like
Mhm.
people be thinking that shit is like
It's
some
some
New
New
York
York.
shit. So nah, you gotta stop. Like they gotta stop. They gotta know their little history, and that's why they fall off because they don't know the history of it. Now, the Kanye comment is crazy. I'm gonna tell you right there. I feel like people are being a little too safe. Like no judgment. Everybody gonna come at me. I don't give a fuck anymore, really. But I'm not defending half of the shit he doing.
I don't defend nothing, kid.
I'm not doing any of that. I don't follow it. I've never really been a Kanye fan. I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know his kids' names and stuff. But
Mhm.
I'm not gonna take away from his character because there are characters among us just like him. The problem is what people don't understand is that we X out people that think like him, and it's easier because we have a block button. And he is trying to not, I don't think it's deliberately, but I believe that if there is, he has shown us many, many times over and over again without controversy, no one listens.
Yes.
And I think that is probably, something that, I do believe that his kids know who he is. I do believe his exes and everybody knows who he is. His family knows who he is. People in the industry know who he is. And I think that he has shown us time and time again. And if you guys have been death scrolling in the last, year and a half, 2 years already, without controversy, no one listens. And I think that is something that is fucked up in this world. But it's not like he ain't giving us singles. It's not like he ain't hitting us with good music still, good production, stuff like that. When somebody is not looking into the person anymore, right? Then they start or looking into the person. My favorite artist, believe it or not, is Joe Budden. It's Joe Budden. There's no one topping this dude. Joe Budden has only peaked one time at with his Pump It Up back in the day. He came back about 10 years later. He peaked at at 200. And that's when he was on TV and he was the controversial guy, right? And he's always been the controversial guy. And this is by experience and it's one to have a voice that sounds like everybody. But it's so different when you got a voice that sounds like nobody.
Exactly.
So when people are not taking these things into consideration, they bro, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now, it's a whole big thing, and I think I can talk to you about it because I think you've realized what your parents were trying to do for you. I'm in the middle of either Xing out my kids from my life because they don't understand what I'm doing for them. It is a real big hurt because it's my identity, right? And people would think that that's fucking crazy. And I'm like, I don't care. I've been as real as possible at these crazy ass situations of my life. And I do believe that my controversy is I don't care how you feel. As a kid, can you imagine if you or maybe you had the conversation with your parents that they don't care how you feel? Can you imagine that shit? Like, bro, I literally be sitting here waiting for this motherfucker to understand, bro, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for this life. And if you think that I'm the one that has not been there for you, you watch what happens when you realize no one's there for you. You get what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm not too much of that, because the Kanye shit is crazy, but it does dive into so many things. It dives into the parenting because people think that they the best parents. Why would you show your kids this kind of way of life, blah, blah. But I don't know if you know this, but he got kids with somebody who got famous by being a body.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, come on. Like, you gotta understand there's already too much going on that and more power to them because of how they handle it. Because they still getting rich. They still holding it down. They still going to school. They still getting money. These kids are still growing up. And they're going and I know they came out the womb with therapists. I know they came out the womb. Anyways, let me take a little break real quick. We're gonna get into what you got going on right now. I want to get into this mood. If you guys want to get into this mood with me, you could go ahead and start streaming Artinho on Spotify. I'm going to drop the link for those who are live, and for those who are here on the podcast, you'll see the link in the description. Shout out to everybody listening. This is Artinho Mood on QSJ Radio.
Switches from time to time. My mood came from nothing. I'ma celebrate my mood. Look in the mirror on my biggest obstacle. Hold that, keep my breath and sit back, watch it all flood in. My mood switches from time to time. My mood came from nothing. I'ma celebrate my mood. Look in the mirror on my biggest obstacle. Hold that, keep my breath and sit back, watch it all flood in. I don't trust your opinions, still full of crowds like minions. Once new bad man called Gideon. I got 2 shares of income, I just need 6 more just to make me millionaire. When I step outside, I smell good. Smells like pamplemousse, rose in other words, pink grapefruit. Me and H going back to back, that's a criminal offence. We grew to the rhythm like no other. This is an assassination of your mental stabilization. As I leave my mum's yard, just appreciate freedom. I don't care about matching my creps on my top, still seeing everyone rocking Air Force Ones with Adidas tracksuit. When I'm upset,
You guys could go ahead and download, stream, or even, save that Artinho Mood on there. So, that song right there is way different than Solid, right? It's kind of like the switch up, right? And it kind of goes into exactly what you were saying. You have this different playlist of things. I'm going to tell you what that makes you to me. Right. Okay. And this is just me because I've been around music for a little bit and my life. Because your playlist is so big, I do believe that you believe that people are keeping racists alive. Okay. That there was a time that it was not existent to you. And because of that, there was certain situations, friendships that kind of like fell apart from it, right? And also, you are diverse in culture, and meaning that if you don't know of something and felt like you disrespected a certain culture, you probably would apologize for it instead of looking at it and saying, well, I don't care. That's not what we do here.
Mm.
Right. There's just a whole bunch of things when it comes to somebody's playlist. I'll always be like, yo, let me check your playlist out. Right? Because that could tell a lot about somebody. So what's up with this mood though? I feel like you just chilled and but I feel like you also throwing subliminals in there. Like I feel like you talking crap to somebody, but you just chilling. Like this is my mood. Like what's going on in that track?
So at the time, I feel like, I feel like in life, there's gonna be people that get under your skin. There's gonna be people that, are like vultures. They just wanna be around you when things are hot and, just they want stuff to benefit them and just wanna be like, I don't know. I was working on Mood and I was working on other tracks and I just felt like, so the engineer who I was working with at the time is someone that I met at a job that I did. And he had other friends that like were rappers and well upcoming rappers that wanted to get into the game. They were like rock artists before. So then I'd come in the studio with him. Well, for 2 years he tried to get me in the studio and I always declined. And I was just like, cool, I'll take his opportunity. Why not? Just you know what it was? I lived quite far from him. So I
Okay.
was just like, it don't make any sense for me to get there. If I can go
So
to a different
yeah.
studio,
So
get me.
it was like you wanted to, and then it
But it
became
was
annoying, and then
yeah.
it became like fuck it.
But then as well, he had never worked with any rappers. So I was just like, you've
Oh
only worked with rock artists. It's like really heavy rock. And I was just like, I don't really think you could do anything for me.
wow.
So then he sent me a beat and I was like, oh, and he had someone singing in it that
Yeah.
I'm like friends with. I was like, oh, okay, okay, we'll see. So I came down to the studio. Um, yeah, and we worked on a song called Oh My, and then I worked on Mood. But it's just the people he had around coming in the studio would always come around and just like, so obviously I smoke weed and he has friends that smoke weed and stuff, but it's like, oh, what could I use your tobacco? Could I use your papers?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what could I get some of your weed? What the fuck? No disrespect, but like that's the money I put into that.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like I don't. But then it's like even with music, what could I jump on your song? Can I jump on this? But then
Oh
it's not
damn.
like. Then it's like I don't even have the same animosity. I don't even have the same feeling for you to jump on your music. But some of it was like, okay, I don't mind one song. I heard what he said on the song at one time, and he didn't think I clocked what he said about me. So then I made it a whole thing. I was like, every song you jump on with me, I'm absolutely ripping your ass on it.
Oof.
So Mood, so I've got Nightmares
Pause.
is about him.
Pause.
Pause, yes, my bad, pause. But night, my bad. But Nightmares, my end of my first verse when I talk about the vultures, that's him. Mood, that's him. And there's another song I've got coming out called Villain. Oh, I've got Villain out actually. That's about him as well. So I think there's just people in life that, and this is the craziest thing. This is a rich kid. So he has the ability to get anything he wants. Like he's grew up with money. So I was kind of confused. I'm someone that's not grown up with that. I've never had the ability to get that. And I've worked hard to get to where I am. And you're trying to shit on me. And it's like, nah, just because you're rich and all that, don't mean you could just have everything. If you could, you should have done that. You shouldn't be working with people like us.
I
But
mean,
I
I
just,
mean, I mean, I mean, no. Look, let's talk big bro shit right here. Okay.
yeah, go on. All right.
I just want you to know. Listen,
Yeah.
if it's fueling you right now, then I fucks with it. Okay. If it's fueling you, it's making you go in the stew, is making you, come up with some bars, go in on somebody. I get
Mhm.
it.
It's not just that though. It's just I think I wouldn't say it's just specifically to him. I think there's a lot of things that's happened in my life
Yeah.
so even with, for example, with Villain, and I touch on Mood a little bit. So I've dealt with mental health. Obviously, I've lost a friend. It's not just the only friend I've lost. I've lost multiple friends. I've lost family members and stuff like that. So I've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with I self-harm when I was a bit younger. So stuff like that. So then it's like, I don't know, I think that plays into the music and I feel like this is another reason why I did Solid. Solid was more me being aggressive on the
Yeah.
song, how it came out. So it's more the mood at a certain time, or obviously the lyrics, how I make music.
Because I don't want to take away from what you're feeling,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
But just because somebody got a lot doesn't mean they got the map. They
How about
don't.
you? No, of course.
They don't have the map, bro. You know, you gotta
Mhm.
understand. That's why people use GPS, right? That's why people have these. They ask for an address,
Mhm.
you know, and I fuck with it, all right? Because remember, I told you a little bit of the history. It was kind of crazy that all these people that has so much. Remember, there's people out there on the radio who are broke.
Mhm.
Okay, we can't do it. We from the grind, bro. You from the grind. You feel me? And what we trying to do is, yes, I would love to have everything. Right now, I'm telling you, it might not look like it, but this took a lot to get where I'm at. And I'll be damned if somebody who got it so fast don't understand what it means to save everything, to have 30 fucking hard drives, to tell people you don't fucking like them. Like, that's a big deal when you got to tell people you don't like them. But if it's fueling you right now,
No, I wouldn't say it fuels me.
I
It doesn't fuel me.
think if villain is, and I know it's probably one of the topics in there and stuff like that. But if it's fueling you right now, I fucks with it. And the reason is because you need that. There's nothing else wrong except this problem that you have with somebody. And it might not even be that much of a problem, but you know, you don't want to give nobody the benefit. I get it, but they bringing the best out of you, and you gotta know that part. But anyways,
I think go on.
Now go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think what fuel. There's a lot of things that fuel the problem with it. It's not just him. It's like his background. So his dad, or his dad was like a high intendant of a police force, and we don't fuck with the feds.
Yeah, I don't fuck.
You see what I'm saying?
But so that's his dad, though.
But he was throwing that power around.
Listen.
So he's like, oh yeah,
Okay.
So I was just like, oh okay, there's a real hatred for you. So every song I'm going into is fuel energy. So I think that's kind of how I take the music.
I fuck with it. I'm not gonna front. Artinho, I fuck with it. Okay,
If he didn't use the power of his dad, that's not a problem. But he uses it in the power like, oh, I can get man put away, and it's like, no, you can't. Trust me. If I put hands on you, you're definitely not getting me put away. So I'm about that.
Oh my God, let's go. I'm in the middle of a Biggie and Tupac on the low. Oh shit! This is why they banned you from this shit. Okay, this is why they banned. Anyways, big shout out to everybody listening. We're talking about Artinio's, and how he got into the studio and things like that. And we talked about this song called "Mood," which was actually like a serious subliminal chill track, which is crazy. Your creative process. People got this different way of doing things. They write down things on paper. They harmonize it. Some people use voice notes now. Can you walk us through your creative process when you're writing a new track?
Yeah, so it really depends. If I'm in a studio, like honestly, it really does depend. If I'm in a studio, I have to be with like-minded people who want to win and want to focus on music, who's not really bothered with anything else. Then it's a bit more easier. And if there's obviously a song in mind or a subject in mind, that's a bit easier. Normally, I'd have to. I don't know. It really does come to me. I can't sit here and say that I can probably just get a notepad and just write bars. It's probably not going to come to me.
Okay.
But I feel like for the last 2 years, I've been really consistent on doing stuff. So it's been a bit more easier. So I could be doing something totally different. Like I could be at work. So I work at SEN school. So it's kids with special needs. So I could be doing something like that, working with a kid, and he could say, oh, just something out of the day, like, "Oh, I had a great weekend," and I could end up just, I don't know, like there could be a song on the radio. I could start beatboxing to the song, and I can get something from it. I'd write it down on my note, and then I get home and it'd probably take me an hour and a half if I sit down to write a song. Um, but it's more in the mood. It's like I have to be doing something. I'll go be out, and then I get a feeling from something, and it's
Okay.
like, oh, okay, I can write to this because I've got songs that are not out yet that are based on me going to parties and feelings and just stuff like that that are gonna be coming out soon.
So hip hop has changed a lot, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of very, very uh legendary names coming out of your influence box.
Hmm.
But you now those influencers, those people, they're grandfathers. They are
Yeah.
the big unk, right? They
Yeah.
doing a bunch of things right now.
Hmm.
Is there anybody that you're listening to now that you would consider like, okay, they're the ones that are gonna keep this thing going, or is somebody in your playlist that wasn't mentioned that might have a new kind of style?
When you mean keep it going, you talking about people in the last 5 years, 10 years,
Yeah, for me,
yeah,
it's always gonna be the 5. You got to make it 5 years
5,
straight where people know you.
last 5 years, I think could be here for a while.
Oh, really?
Like we talking about both American and British.
We could shit. We could talk about fucking South Africa. I don't give a fuck. Like,
So it's difficult in America, I think, anyways.
mm,
I think the talent pool in America is insane. So, um, 5 artists in America. So I don't listen to the new artists in America.
that's fine. That's fine.
So like, I can't name you a new artist.
And you know what? That's fine, because that indicates that you can't trust them yet. You can't trust
Yeah.
you can't trust what they can develop later on,
Yeah.
And I think that is something that is, it might not seem right with some people, like listening in. It's like a song is a song. No, a song is not a song.
Hmm.
A song is something that's teaching, is reminiscing, is something that implements in your life, that makes the
Hmm.
playlist of your soundtrack of your life. And if you can't trust anybody in this day and age, it's possibly because there's so many that come in and out, the rotation and all
Hmm.
this. There's no one really solid like that, you know, um,
If I
consistent
could,
like
so
that.
go on, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, go
If
ahead,
I
go
could
ahead.
think of someone, I wouldn't say it's the lyrics. I think it's the sound. It's Cash Cobain. I like his sound.
Nice.
If we're going to talk about artists in the last 5 years, I like his sound and how he went from, I think who did he work with? Don Toliver and Charlie Wilson.
Yeah.
Like how he even got that, and he's got his little bit in it, but his sound is just, for me anyways, I like that. Um, 5 years is difficult. If we're talking England, I would say Nems. I don't know if you've heard, he's
Yes.
a rapper.
Yes.
Yeah,
Trust.
fuck with Nems.
Wow.
Um,
Legendary.
who else? Nems is hard.
That's your version of Jay-Z. That's what I feel.
You think so?
In a way, because Jay-Z kind of like developed after every 5 years, he kind of did something where it looks like kind of grown up. So Nems, I believe, he's been holding it down for Plus. I think he's been holding it down for Plus longer than a lot of people understand. And, but when I talk Jay-Z talk, it's kind of different from when people are not understanding. Jay-Z used to be the skits type of rapper. When he's Scooby-Doo Pop Pop type of shit,
Yeah.
he used to do that. And then you find later on the things that he's done. And people ain't gonna mention Jay-Z because of the whole thing going on with Puff. But
I think Jay-Z for me is my favorite rapper of all time. If we're talking rappers of all time, I don't think there's no one that touches him. Bar for bar, and what he's delivered in the album, I don't think you can't put another rapper and put
No.
project against project and say they've got a better project than Jay-Z. And
Nah,
hasn't he got like?
that's 100. That's
I think the
100.
only artist you could put up there is probably Eminem because of sales wise, but
I mean,
Jay-Z's
that
impact in culture is crazy.
sells. Yes, but
But
no.
Jay-Z's impact in culture is undeniable.
Big shout out to everybody listening. Tune in to QSJ Radio. You know, it's crazy that was a hard question.
Mhm.
And you probably had that asked to you friend wise in the studio, you know, and things like that. And it's fine. It's fine because I couldn't tell you a top artist in the last 5 years.
10 years, maybe.
I
5
can't.
years.
Nope.
10 years.
Not even me. Nope. Everything is
From
gonna say.
2015.
Everything is gonna say Joe Budden. Everything is gonna say Joe Budden, and people are gonna look at me like I'm crazy because I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me and why that is like that. Joe Budden had this series of mixtapes called Mood Music, and everything else was getting popping. Everything was getting pop. People were getting popular, blah blah stuff like that. So he had this underground approach from being one of the top guys in Def Jam to now being, you know, not even recognized as that. You know, the video games, everything, it didn't matter. And what he did was he didn't want to commercialize his shit no more, and he went to the internet. And when he went to the internet, you really had to like follow this person to know what was going on with them. I don't like the person though. I never did. I never liked the personality. I never liked how he thought, you know, he was into times, but he chose favorites. And I don't think that makes anybody kind of cool. Yes, it's you know, I fucks with him. I fucks with his music. I fucks with his versatile, the things that he brings. But, you know, at the same time, the person also thought he was bigger than he was. And I think that was my kind of like, I had to ID a lot of these artists. So my favorite artist made me pause in trying to introduce any other people in my life as a rapper.
Okay.
So I listen to rock as well. I'm very, very big with Third Eye Blind. I've been following them since their first album. And now we're into our 10th studio album. And people are like, what are you talking about, 10th studio? You have to follow. You have to follow to know that people are still working. They're still doing a bunch of things. And they also have personalities that have stopped me from introducing people into my life like that. So I could tell you, oh, I know that song. I could tell you this. I could tell you that. But the top stars that came out in the last 5 years also came out because they went viral on TikTok. So there is no, if I'm not on there and it's not healthy for me to be on there. Listen, my For You page is ridiculous. It's all about death. I don't understand. Am I dying soon? I don't know. Right. So it's crazy because I don't get it because I want to see a cat dance. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some shit. I want to see some titties, something like, what the fuck, bro? Like you showing me somebody who's dying. Like, I don't know, but the last 5 years, people have been popping because of their viralness on TikTok. And I think that's why I can't like name them. I can't hold it down, you know, and I think that's what it is. So my favorite rapper, he's a fucking dick. So I don't want to introduce nobody in my life because you find now that people are they just dumb. Like they just not in tune after a few bucks. Like they're not in tune with nobody. And then my favorite band, even though I love their songs, play them, get super excited, still go to their concerts and stuff. And I've been to Joe Budden concerts too. Like these are like real people that like I touched, I smelt eye to eye. You know what I mean? Like, and still because they dickheads, I don't
Mhm.
introduce a whole bunch of people in my life like that. Like, it's crazy.
No, I got you.
But most of my people that I'm listening to right now are all underground artists. They're all
Okay.
underground artists. It is amazing. It's amazing. That underground crazy. I got some comments in here. Big shout out to Ashbourne. Not just Jay-Z on stage, but his personal life and influence was strong. True story. Somebody else, shout out to 420. I listen to all the oldies still, maybe throw in some new things, but mostly for the sound, not the message. I get that. Shout out to
Mm.
that playlist. That playlist is called Mood. Anyways, if you guys are just tuning in right now, we're getting into kind of like what's going on with Artinio. Projects you kind of working on. Are you just throwing singles out there? Is there an album that we working on? It is kind of like festival season. Do we got performances coming up?
So well, for this year, actually, I just kind of want to focus on probably putting out more singles. I did think about at the start of the year with my team about doing festivals. But we've come to an agreement of saying probably do more shows, probably get myself more out there. Try and do shows, probably not just stay in one area, move about in the UK as we get as I keep releasing songs and keep doing more shows. Next year will be way more easier to get put into festivals. Um, I'm looking to drop a project at the end of the year. I will drop a short EP, probably 7 songs. I think an album for me, I've always kind of thought like I did want a backing before an album.
Mm.
Um, I think like because I feel like you're putting your whole piece of art into it, and you do need a financial backing before you do that. Because obviously there's ideas that you'd want to do. You'd probably want to shoot certain videos that
Yeah.
you probably don't have the money for, even just promoting it, just the promotion of the project. So I think with an album, you want it to go to a wider scale. So I feel like that's not where I'm at the moment. So I kind of still want to. Plus, my last EP came out in 2018, so I want to. I've only dropped singles since then, so I kind of want to drop a project that I've been working on for the last 3 years. So it's called 1919 Part One, Alone in the Madness. So 19, the reason why I've called it
Yeah.
1919 is, like I told you, I got started when I was 19. 19 is when I changed my life and everything. So yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's yeah.
It's getting deep. It's getting deep. You getting older, my dude. You getting older. And you start to
plus, plus, I'm actually the next thing I'm dropping would be, so I'm looking to drop a single at the end of June called Course Collision.
Okay.
Yeah, so the EP would probably come out in September.
Big shout out to that. Shout out to
Yeah.
like, the performance thing and
hmm
the situation that you're in as an unsigned artist
hmm
is it's normal. Okay? It's
hmm
normal because you want things to come out perfect.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna be all right.
hmm
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like it's gonna be all right. I got a
All right.
question in here from the chat. Do I know we talked about some certain collaborations. Any future collaborations that we should be looking to?
Any future collaborations? Yeah, definitely. Don't really wanna speak on some. I've got some exciting ones. I'm not allowed to speak on.
You're not allowed to speak on them.
No, it's a big British artist. I'm not allowed to say anything about it. That's all I can say.
I've
It's
been hearing that shit so much. I'm starting to believe that y'all lying. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
so no.
Like,
Honestly, so honestly, at the start of the year, so obviously I worked on Nightmares. Obviously,
okay,
Nightmares came out.
yeah,
Nightmares got shot before it came out. It got I had a manager at the point in the time.
okay,
I don't have him no more, but he had shot the song to Skepta.
okay.
So yeah, I know that Skepta had recorded something to it. It's just that's all I know. But I know that other artists are busy with stuff, so I'm not trying to, you know what I mean?
You
I'm not
good, you
trying
good.
to,
You good,
yeah.
you good. No, I just be like, I'm just bullshitting, man. I know there's certain things that have to happen,
Mhm.
and one of the craziest things that a lot of people don't understand. Like sometimes when unsigned artists get big opportunities, some of that is almost as if it was scripted, right? So I'm gonna give an idea for people though that understand and why they should understand why you'll hear certain people like we can't talk about that yet, right? And one of them is there's usually there's a financial situation going on, right? Either there's a sponsorship, there's things that got to get secured, and then how are you going to promote it, right? So is there just a single? So this day and age, you can't just put out a single with somebody and you think it's gonna work. You got to put out the visuals because people want to believe that this happened instead of somebody just sending in like a 16 or a remix or something like that. And of course, there's the biggest one. How is that other side going to help you promote? Because at the end of the day, if it's the artist, the unsigned artist asking for the collaboration, they're going to get it as long as the transactions happen in the background. But how is the big artist going to help the young guy other than just sending him something that right now would be considered a service? So if somebody like if me and Artinho, we're like, yo, let's do a track together, right? It's probably going to be for love, right? And because it's for love, like we're not expecting shit to pop off. We're like, you send a track, I send a track, we put it together and stuff like that. And that's all fun and games. But you know what happens with fun and games? Bullshit. Like, who's going to promote it? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? So me and this dude, we make a track together. We were friends. And next thing you know, it's like, how are we going to deal with the comments? Did I outdo him in the track? Did he outdo me in the track? People are going to start talking all this crazy shit. And then how do we influence on that, right? We know each other's style is different. We know this, we know that, but now we know each other personally. So now I have a direction where I can probably push myself away from association with you or get closer. And people need to understand that when it's made out of love, just like love, it goes a little crazy. But when there's a transaction, it's crazy different. It's like that dude provided a service. We did our promotion. How much do we got to ask you guys to promote it? And then they give us a prize. We do that. It pops off. We do the video. And we're just trying to but at the end of the day, the unsigned artist is the one that ends up being like the one that pushed out of pockets because they don't give a fuck. They still doing songs with a bunch of people. They doing a bunch of things. They getting the money. And, then how is the unsigned artist also going to benefit from that? Right? Do you get bad publicity because you did a song with so-and-so? So there's a bunch of things that come into that play for those who don't know. When you start hearing people saying, I can't talk about that yet, it's usually something that is so close, so done, but something's not finished or we're waiting on somebody. And sometimes that's just what it is. And that's just that's the thing. Like, that's what we do here, man. We just try to clarify a lot of things for a lot of people because people got to understand that unsigned artist life is the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. We're going to go ahead and take one more break real quick. And I want to talk about, I want to talk about something. And it's crazy because I do got a crazy question. That would probably you'd probably be like, bro, there's no way you just asked me that. So I got nightmares. I'm going to go ahead and play that.
All right.
Nightmares. vision come to me in a different state. Nightmares, nightmares. I swear bullets in my nightmares. I'm frantic, I'm anxious. The dreams I envision come to me in a different state. I go by ARTINHO. You better check yourself. I've got a bag of tricks. I tongue tie. I'm confused like David Blaine. I'm the villainous one. Things about to change. I come from the north. I don't boast about it. The stigma of the 9 comes with some bad habits. Some of acquaintance left and took the wrong part. But me and my brethren, we're focused on the right direction that will exceed our forthcoming expectations. It's not how I drive, it's how we arrive. I've taken L's, moving horizontally instead. I'm moving forward strategically. That was the best move. I see my G get pops, cause he was talking smack. That's how I grew up, mano we mano. You sort it out, move on. Smoking some Picasso, drinking Dom Perignon. I'm so clinical, my words are diabolical. I feel frictions from dudes passing by. What's the attitude for? I know you meant that. Now you wanna step to me in front of your girl holding you back. I'm up.
Nightmares, yo, bro. That's just it was a like a Halloween vibe. Like
Yeah, I know.
So that was one of the collaborations that you did. I think it was Vels.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. How did that collaboration come about?
So earlier as I spoken about, I'd worked with an engineer. This is the engineer's cousin. So this is one of the artists he was bringing in just to like have me hear his music. But genuinely we got along really well. I'd listened to his stuff, didn't have too many songs out, and he never seemed like he was wanting to get any songs. I just felt like he would come in to a session. I just like, bro, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm just coming just to chill in a session, just want to see what you lot are doing. I felt like he kind of felt inspired. And then he heard the song one day and was just like, could I jump on it? I was like, let me see what you got. So I'm not an artist that asks stuff like that, but then I've seen him a couple times and he hasn't done anything in there. So I was just like, all right, cool, let me see what you've got. He's played some stuff and then he's rapped on it. And I was like, oh, if you actually write this down, this could be epic. So yeah, I think I'll put you on this. So then I had another artist on there as well. So the person I told you that's ended up fueling me to where I am at the moment.
Yeah.
He was on the track as well, but we had a disagreement later on. So I had basically legally I sent all the artists that. So initially I was gonna do a mixtape, and I sent out all the percentage. I spoke to all the producers. We spoke through all the tracks and all the artists featured. I proposed all the percentages. Everyone said fine. Obviously, all the producers get 50%, and then the artists is depending on obviously what you write and blah 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 and what you put into the song. Obviously, the percentage comes in that way. So what I took from Nightmares, I had 30%, and I put 15 each. No wait, hold up, 50%. I had 25. Sorry, so I did 12 each because I wrote the hook, I wrote my verse, and I writ. So Velves is half of first verse.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. But they had split it in between them two. We had the disagreement. So the other artist wanted me to basically, on my story or when I'd go live, to basically shout them out for no apparent reason.
Wow.
Just shout my stuff out. You know, we're working together. I think you should shout me out. And I was like, nah. I've worked so hard to get to where I am. I'm not shouting you out. I don't owe you shit. Don't need to promote you. So
See,
took him off the song.
That's the thing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what people really don't understand of that unsigned artist life, because when you start getting popping and people just take advantage of you, and that's crazy. So
Yeah.
go ahead. I think he was about to finish up on that one.
Yeah. So I got him off the song. I spoke to Vels. I was like, you could basically have the rest of the 12 bars he's wrote to that, and then the song came about. Yeah.
If you guys just want to recap real quick, because I do want to recap. I do want to talk about Artinho the underground hip hop artist from North London. I think you're in Kent now, right? Are you
Yeah,
there?
in Dover now. Yeah.
Has he been steadily building his presence in the UK music scene since 2018, as he mentioned. "Live for the Moment" was like the debut single.
Yeah.
And it marked the beginning of his crazy journey. And then Dreamin' came out, and I think like Formula, the EP came out. Then you had like this 3-track EP with like Josh Kai, Dijon Joseph.
Oh yeah. Equals is one of the songs.
It was produced
that-
by what, like Herman? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's my brother.
Oh, shoo.
Yeah.
That's the bro.
Yeah. Now, if I was to tell you who he works with now, it's
Bro,
a massive jump.
let's not.
Yeah.
It's not gonna, you know. But I want people to understand, not only is like, we're talking about the history, what came
Mhm.
about and things like that. There was like a lot of significant attention that you got, like 600 radio plays. There was features on BBC, which is also big. And your collaboration with like Matrace
Mhm.
on tracks like Fury and Fate. They've
Yeah.
been real well received. I got some people at medium.com that they know about that. So if you guys don't know, Medium is a big newspaper, basically the newspaper of the internet. It is just so much that you've been working for and trying hard not to be in the shadow of your successful bro, right? Like it's got to be a little hard, because when you don't ask for help, like where's the help coming from? Because it's like you gotta try to make it in a different way.
Yeah, this is where you seek people out. You try to create conversation with people, see if you have things in common with people, and then you go from there. I just think it's just you just got to go out and just probably go to concerts and meet people there, or I don't know, whatever you have in common. If you go somewhere and you meet someone, you talk to them and see what happens. Or from where you work I think is the easiest thing, because yeah, from when my brother stopped doing my stuff, I was like, where am I gonna find people? Luckily, I worked at Tommy Hilfiger at the time, and so one of the apprentice that was there is still my producer from 2016. He still produces for me.
Nice.
So he's done stuff like Oh My. He's done stuff like Go Freestyle. He's done Mood. The song I'm dropping next is gonna be his All Cause Collision. So yeah. I don't know. I've just met people, and then my brother has gave me some of his producer friends, which I've worked with. Some of them is what it is, but yeah, the ones that no, because they like. Don't get me wrong. I think he got me a great producer in A. Skits who did Crept and Conan. Tell him don't waste my time.
Yeah.
That's one of my brother's really good friends, and yeah, we worked on a beat, and I was just like, I don't know what this guy wants from me. Like at the time, I think it was really early in my career. I think at the time I was just like I was a bit more arrogant.
I think it was like kind of focused on a sound. Would you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I probably was focusing on sound. And I don't think I had the sound yet. Not until I created No Stress. I feel like when my sound is now got to the point where it's developed to where it is at. Even though I've done certain collaboration with Matrace. So Matrace he's an electronic producer. So we're friends as well. And I know him through the engineers, or his name is Ed. So Ed's basically allowed me to know these. He's like the tree, and all of these are the branches. And I've met these great people, some great people, some not. And Matrace is an electronic producer. We met at a session. He did Fury. We met at that session, and then we spoke about who we like, and it was just Flume, Daft Punk, Kanye West's Yeezus album, and it's like, okay, cool, we can make a project together. So at the moment, we're going through that as well. But yeah,
bro, I just had to let I just had to let the music history out too, because we went really in depth with a lot of the personal.
Mm.
And I appreciate, opening up for that, because people like hiding that stuff, and I've worked with, and then they'll just
Mhm.
leave it blank. But like, I've worked with, and I did not like working with. That's the conversations where, like, people from the unsigned world, they just don't like having. They want everything to look like it's all good. Like, no,
Mhm.
it's not, bro.
No, it's not.
This shit is trash. And I love music, but this shit is trash. Like, I love making songs, and people are thinking like I'm doing this stuff on my own. No, I'm working with people, and that's what people told me to do, and then I'm doing it, and it's like, this shit is trash. It's
Mm.
like, and you're not saying yourself is trash, because I'm sure you're not trying to release trash, but you know, like, come on, bro. Like, y'all giving me all these producers, and we ain't got no hits. Let me stop. Because I can only imagine how pissed that you could be just getting, and things like that. Um, let me ask you a question, because
Mhm.
almost out of time here, but you met a lot of people through the time,
Mhm.
and you ever had the opportunity, or if you had the opportunity,
Mhm.
hey, look, I know you starting, and you remind me of me or whatever when I was young. Here's some advice. What is some advice that you will give the aspiring, unsigned, about to be signed artists? Because, I know you got a lot that you want to tell them, but what would be some advice that you want to give them?
To never give up, and just to always believe in what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, there's so many people that say that they want to be a rapper. There's so many people that can actually, and then I think what people must think is easy is to get up on stage and rap. That's not something easy to do. See, I've been on stage and had no people watch me. Been on stage and had 9 people watch me. Been on stage and it's been fully packed. So, I would tell the artist, like, regardless of what everyone thinks about your music, as long as you believe in yourself, it's gonna work out. It's like you'll go from having no one's listening to you to probably 1,000 people listening to you, and that's just you being creative in yourself and just believing in what you can do. Sometimes I believe being different is good, but then sometimes people say follow the wave. Once you follow the wave, then branch out and do your own thing. I feel like sometimes, but yeah, just believe in yourself. I think I think that's what everyone would tell anyone. Believe in yourself, because there was a point in time I stopped believing in myself, and yeah, there's a point in time I was gonna give up music. 2022, I wasn't doing no music whatsoever. I had moved from London to Kent. I wasn't in the best place. I didn't think I was getting anything out of it, and it's been the best situation in my life. It's changed my whole life around. I've been able to get performances in places I never got performances. I played a festival last year. I was able to being played on BBC radio, which I never had before when I lived in London. So I just would say to any artist, believe in himself. Doesn't care what no Don't care what no one says, because there's gonna be someone that likes your music regardless. So
Big shout out to everybody listening. Tune in to QSJ Radio, home to the underground artists. And let me tell you, man, I learned a lot today. And I learned from the beginning, where, you're just a little kid out there. And I'm sure you probably know that you were a little kid. You probably hanging out with the people that are doing things, making money. It got
mhm,
you caught up, wrong place, wrong time. Ended up moving away. And even though you knew the place, it still wasn't familiar to you.
mhm,
And then when you came back, you had to put this on somewhere. There was a really long pause. Somebody in my chat, one of my ex-girlfriends, she said it in the chat. She don't know she my ex-girl, but like, she said it. She said there was a long pause when you mentioned the X.
Mhm.
There's a track in there somewhere. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You probably released it already, but there's a track in there somewhere where you need to let that shit out. You know? And I can't wait until you get the right sound to be like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted to do. And, you know, and shout out to the admitting that when I was little, I was not listening to what my parents wanted me to do.
Mm.
You know? And that's real big. That's real crazy because it's like, that's my timeline right now. And to know that sooner or later they'll understand, that's good. And that you're alive to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know? That's one of the big things.
Yeah.
And then we talked about these collaborations. Listen, everybody, like, yo, go ahead, get with people, get with producers, get whatever. Like, bro, I gotta like people first. Like, I gotta like these people, bro. Like, and I really like that because sometimes, like, people don't like people. Like, and if you're
you're
not
right.
catching the vibes, like, do you really want to finish this track? Do you really want to sit there and do that? And I learned a lot from your journey. That is going to continue. That is going to be up and popping. September, we talking about an EP. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? This heat is coming. That humidity is coming. I don't know if y'all get humidity, but we get it. And it's embarrassing because everybody smell like fucking 1865. But I appreciate you taking the time, man, to talk to me, reaching out.
I appreciate you even having the time to talk to me.
Bro, like,
you're a busy guy, so I appreciate even you just taking the time to spend time to speak to me. So,
yo, man, I'm here, man. The journey will continue. Artinho, you can find him on, what is that? SoundCloud. He's all over the place. You got a site or no?
At the moment, no, but when the EP drops, I'll have a site.
Yeah, don't worry too much about it. You know what I'm saying?
Just follow me on
definitely follow the Instagram.
Twitter.
Yeah, definitely go to the gram, people. All right, he's out there. He got it. He got the link in my bio. Yes.
Oh yeah, sheesh. Friday, I'm dropping the Villains music. Tomorrow, I'm dropping Villain music.
Oh, the video.
Yeah, the music video to Villain. So
I'm gonna be in the comments like I know the story, bro. I'm in the comments, bro.
That's so good. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Tomorrow, so.
It's me, Artinho, on Instagram. I'm gonna drop the Instagram for everybody to follow right now. If you guys go do that, and then comment on the last picture, so they'll be like, I came from QSJ, but Artinho, listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time to talk, and we'll definitely link up soon, okay?
Definitely.
You have a great rest of your day, okay? Go get some water. I saw you like, there's nothing in here, like. We'll link up, yo. Just check your email out for all the other things, and then we'll talk soon.
100%.
Have
a great day.
You too.
Holding you back, I'm a product of society. Sip that, I'm not afraid of the kickback. I hit backs, being skinned is a nightmare. I know vultures that's around me that want to gain what I have for the benefit. Nightmares, nightmares. I swear bullets in my nightmares. I'm frantic, I'm anxious. The dreams I envision come to me in a different state. Nightmares, nightmares. I swear bullets in my nightmares. I'm frantic, I'm anxious. The dreams I envision come to me in a different state.
Nightmares every night, is it weird that I remember? Had a few frights, it was only slender. Cut this hate like it stayed, there was a tender. Unify me and don't ask about agendas. For a while now I've gone through some stress. Got bad thoughts, locked up in my head. Please be careful the way you express, cause none of us don't really know what's next. I've flipped the page, a new chapter already. On my 2 feet and the ground's unsteady. Leaping things in my nightmares that I haven't seen on telly. Freddy sliding in, Jason swinging to Kenny. Plant a seed and watch it turn into a tree. I'm only trying to grow so I can see what I achieve. Best believe it's all the better for the dreams. I'm putting pen onto the paper, change the plan into a scheme. Not been one to criticize, just be you and I'll be me. Get the drift and feel the heat. Fight my demons then repeat. Fight my demons then repeat. It's more to life than we will ever see. Is it promise for tomorrow? So I'm stuck up in my morals. Is it struggle with my sorrows? I can't dream in my sleep. I'ma save it for tomorrow.
Nightmares, nightmares. I sweat bullets in my nightmares. I'm frantic, I'm anxious.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.